and this is My Slovak Experience.
Hey, many thanks for spending some of your time with My Slovak Experience. Today I traveled to Italy to meet my next guest, Lorenzo Luci, to have him share the story about him and Slovakia. Lorenzo is a good old friend of mine. We met years ago, and since then we had countless days and experiences together until I moved to Slovakia. He stayed in Italy to finish his studies and to work in our home region, Friuli Venezia Giulia. He later decided to join me in Slovakia for his Slovak experience that lasted for a couple of years. Through Lorenzo, I bring the Slovak experience of someone who chose to return back home. Before we start, a little thing. I visited Lorenzo in his new apartment for recording his podcast on the day he moved in, so we sat in an empty room, and I would like to apologize for the echo that you will hear throughout the podcast. And now, let's hear what Lorenzo has to say. Enjoy! I'm here with Lorenzo Luci. Lorenzo, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
So let me give a little introduction, to just set up the stage of this interview. So as I said, I know Lorenzo for quite a while, right? We were also studying together in the university. But Lorenzo has a different experience than all the other guests I had so far, because you don't live in Slovakia actually in this moment, right?
Right.
But you came to Slovakia at one point during your career, and then you stayed. For how long did you stay in Slovakia?
Almost 2 years.
Okay, and then you came back basically from the place you started initially. So that is actually in Italy now. So
yeah.
The whole story here is also part of an experience that was in Slovakia from a different eyes, in the eyes than someone that stayed a little bit and then came back. So, but let's start from the beginning. So why Slovakia, and when you decide to go there to work and live?
Yeah, so basically I decided to move because my job here in Italy wasn't very good. Actually it wasn't going very well. I mean, because they were cutting positions. They were starting to lose money in the company. I was working for a local IT company here in Friuli, which is actually our region. So it was my first job after university, and I worked there for 1 year and a half, and everything was good. And one day they decided to stop paying the people. Because the company was not very good. I mean, from the financial perspective. So, but they didn't tell anyone, and that was the big problem. So, they were paying the people with like a loan from the bank. And then they weren't giving the money back. Okay. So it was really a big mess.
So that was a kind of discomfort and a situation that moved you to find a different job. So what made you choose Slovakia then?
Yeah, but the point was also that I wanted to really try something different. I was bored from working in a local company. I mean, in our region, because I mean, here there are a lot of companies which work for a local market, and your working environment is very limited. So I took the chance to move out and go to another country and try to work for a multinational company, which was my objective that time, and that's what I did. Actually, I had another chance to go to Ireland. Okay. And they offered me a very good position there. It was in Cork. The position was for a contact center, working for Google. So I had the chance to work for another multinational company, but it wasn't directly for Google. It was a company working for Google.
Okay.
And then I asked you, and you spoke me about IBM. Actually, we met, I remember, because I came to visit you for the second time, I remember. And you spoke me about your job and your position, what you were doing, and also the country you were living in, which actually, if you think about it, is not so far from Italy.
Yeah.
I mean, from our region.
Yeah. It's like 5.5 hours by car, just drive on the highway.
Yeah,
so
because we live very close to the border, so it's not so far. I mean, it's far from a psychological perspective, but from a physical point of view, it's not. For me, it was really, really tough to choose, and of course to move out. The point is that I had two job offers that time. I mean, one was from Amazon in the beginning.
So like in Slovakia,
US,
you had different options.
Yes, I had this offer for Google in Ireland and Amazon for Slovakia. So they were both US companies, but with European headquarters.
Yeah.
And then I decided to try and give a chance to Slovakia. So I mean, also because you were there, so I had like a friend. I was not completely alone, and that was maybe one of the points that made me decide for Slovakia. And then also the position, because Ireland is an island. So basically, it wasn't so easy to move there. I mean, you had to start from the beginning.
Yeah.
And at that point in time, I had a girlfriend also, and she applied for IBM. And I mean, in the beginning, I applied for Amazon, and she applied for IBM.
Yeah.
She had a job offer, so she moved with me to Slovakia.
So like both found a job quite easily too in Slovakia, right? In not so long time.
Yeah, I mean, I came there for an interview. I had my interview with because we had this friend in common, and he gave me the chance to work to have an interview for Amazon, and I went there and they offered me the position. Actually, yeah, they didn't. It wasn't really any tough, any difficult, because maybe they needed people in that time. I don't know. So yeah, it was I guess November. No, sorry, it was August 2012.
Okay.
And I remember they offered me the position and to start from the 1st of September. So it was the day after my birthday. And I took everything I had and I moved to Slovakia. I remember that in the meantime, your wife actually helped me a lot to find a apartment, to find a.
So that was basically Slovak support, so who spoke the native language and helped to find out.
Yeah, I mean, it was very difficult from the Slovak side, but on the other side, your wife helped me a lot with all the paperwork, also to find a flat, and because I had this need, which was to bring also my car, because I had a property car which was mine, and I wanted to bring it to Slovakia. So yeah, it was really not quite easy to move, apart from the emotional side, which was to leave my friends, my family, my country. I never left Friuli before, just for vacation, just for holidays, to travel across the world, but not to live and work. So yeah, from that perspective, it was not so easy. And also maybe I could say it was not so easy even for the paperwork that you had to do to be a regular worker in Slovakia.
Okay.
Which is a country inside Europe, but it seemed to me that it was really not ready to have foreign workers.
So what was the complication there you had?
So you have to move your physical address and personal permanent residence in Slovakia in order to be able to work there and to have a regular taxation, which I suppose it should not be like that. I mean, in Europe, you should be allowed to work just with your ID from your native country. I mean, your native region.
Yeah, without having a special paper, you say. And
yeah,
okay.
So that was really annoying because you had to do a lot of paperwork. They were not so friendly in the police station. But I had this suggestion from Misha, your wife, and then she told me maybe you can come to our town and you can start from there. So I skipped the...
Yeah, because at the beginning you need the someone that allows you to have the residence into their flat if you're renting the flat, right?
Yeah, also.
So that's actually a point. So that you need to have, if you have you need to live somewhere and have that residence. Otherwise, you're not able to.
In the beginning, you also need
to register a place. So either you know someone that gives you this opportunity and says, like, you can just sign on my home, so you can actually get that part, or you need to have the landlord.
Yes.
Into any flat you rent that allows you to do that. And I think in my personal case, I was quite lucky that our landlord that we were living that time. I remember when I joined Slovakia, we were in Dolhedieli, so it's in Bratislava in one area, and the landlord there said, "Yeah, okay, you can do that," but not everybody is open for this. I heard several stories as well of similar situation where the landlord didn't want to, so you needed to have a friend to make sure that you had at least a residence where you can get papers, you can get information, and so on. Yeah.
Yeah, but my landlord at that time was living in the Czech Republic, so it wasn't really easy to get him here. I mean, there in Slovakia. So yeah, I skipped also they told me that it was really difficult to get the Slovak ID in Bratislava. There were very long queues in they call it the alien police, which is the translation for foreign police.
Yeah, the literal translations in Slovak.
And they give you this paperwork, these documents to fill. And in the end, you get, after 2 weeks, you get the Slovak ID, and you can have health insurance, you can have social ID for taxes, for everything you need. But I mean, my feelings back there was that the country was not so... I mean, the level of hospitality was not very, very high. Maybe because they didn't expect a huge migration from people across Europe. I don't know. Maybe now it's different. But after that, I was really welcomed in the company. For instance, in Amazon, I met a lot of people also from here, from our region, especially a guy from Trieste, which is another big country here, and we were friends. We shared a lot of thoughts, a lot of things to do, and also he married a Slovak girl, and so he gave me a lot of tips and tricks to work in Slovakia. Of course, it was a different country, so I had to adapt a lot. I mean, with the food, with the transportation, with the language. But with these people, with the people I met, I was able to live there and to survive in the first days. Of course, it's a different reality from what we were used to. You know it very well.
No, but I think this is different each depending on the individuals, right? So I would like to know actually, for you, what was different, or what was the first impression you had when you came to Slovakia, right? So what were the things that you perhaps liked the most, and the thing instead that didn't let you feel so well, right? So the first thing was maybe the welcoming with the foreign police and so on, but what about the rest?
For me, it was really a country to discover. So I really enjoyed the opportunity to really to find out how the people live there, and the history, the country, the countryside, and also the neighbor countries like the Czech Republic or Poland. I really like this opportunity to travel and to also to meet the thing maybe that I liked most was that the people there were speaking a lot of different languages. So because they were learning Italian, they were learning French, they were learning German, and it was really helpful for me because I studied languages, so I could practice a lot. So that was really a good point. Also maybe the city and the surrounding towns were very nice to visit. I enjoyed the really tough winter back there. I remember it because it was really snowing a lot, so it was really hard to move in those months. And so I told myself, well, if I have to live like this for 5 years, it's gonna be tough because we come from the north, but I was not used to live like that. I mean, to live on your own and with all these different conditions.
You're from the north of Italy, but from all majority of Europe, in that part is still the south part of Europe. So not so north, by the way.
Yeah, but they told me, I mean, I was speaking with my colleagues, and they told me that it was really not usual, even for them, to have this huge amount of snow. So I told
it was winter 2012.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So it was exceptional weather at that time. So I told myself maybe I just need to wait and give this country a chance. So maybe the culture of the people is not so easy to live with in the beginning, especially maybe for the for the everyday life. To go to the shops, to buy transportation tickets, also to have the the license plate for your car turned to Slovak one.
Not because of the language, or
mainly for the language, because it was really tough to even understand a little bit of Slovak, but it's the same maybe if you come to Italy, I don't know.
But that's still a consideration. So like no matter you speak English, you speak Spanish, you speak a bit of French perhaps, and Italian, but still
not Slovak.
Not Slovak, and still like in certain situation it's hard to.
It's hard, yes.
Communication.
It's hard. Then after a couple of months, I decided to quit Amazon because it was not my type of job. I didn't like it at all because it was like customer service, and they they told me at the beginning, well, maybe you just try this and then you decide what to do, because it was a new team, and in the beginning there were no phone calls with the customers. So at the beginning it was really easy job, but then we started to work with angry customers, and I didn't like it. I mean, I told myself I didn't move out for this.
You had higher expectation of what you wanted to do.
Yeah. So basically, I looked around and I found another very nice guy from Italy, which is Matteo Ciolfi, and he offered me this opportunity to join IBM. And looking backwards, it was a great chance to join a multinational company, and that was really what made me stay in Slovakia, because I found a great team with Italian people and Spanish people, because it was really I was fitting very well in that team, because I could work with Italian, with Spanish, and the manager was great at that time. So they were very welcoming. I had everything I wanted. It was a new team as well, but the atmosphere was different. I mean, you didn't have a fixed working time. No one told you anything if you came like half an hour late. It was very flexible, and in Amazon, on the other hand, was very strict. But because the position was a requirement of the position, so it was not for me.
Because the customer started to call at one
certain
time of the day.
Of course. So I could really manage to live better. And actually, I had this. I was lucky because the headquarters of IBM was really close to my flat. So I could really work. I didn't need to take the tram to take the transportation.
You could walk to the office.
Yes. And there was also a nice lake there. And in the spring, the weather turned, and the country, I mean the city, the town became more welcoming, more with more opportunities to live. I mean, in the way we're used to live. Like you can walk outside, you can stop by in a bar and drink a beer, and so I was really starting to feel a little bit like home.
So it took from September till, let's say, August, April or May.
Yeah, right? we can say May. In May, April, May, we started to say, now we can start to live again.
So after 7-8 months, if you join in the summer, so that was a welcoming place.
Yeah. And also I had not very nice point because my car was stolen back there. And that it was like around December. And in that time I was very, very down. This took me down. It was a really hard hit. So in that moment I was really deciding what to do. I was really at the point to take everything and move back and say, Slovakia, you know what?
So I can imagine. So the beginning was a bit hard. The job at that time wasn't the job that you liked as such. You had unwelcoming situation with the police. Perhaps you had as well to deal and rely on some friends to help you. And then your car gets stolen. So it's like, it's cold outside. That's so something.
I was really thinking, what the hell am I doing here? I mean, why I did this? Why I moved out I really made a big mistake to move here to do this. But then I really was speaking with my inner self, and I was telling myself, you came here, you cannot just go back.
You cannot give up so quickly.
Yeah, you cannot do this because you made it so far. You cannot do it. You have to look forward. You know what Monty Python always say. You have to look to the bright side of life.
Yeah.
So I was lucky because also my girlfriend came in that time, and
So she came.
She helped me a lot.
In December.
She came in October.
Okay.
October. So she had a car, so I was not completely alone. You were there, even if you were living in another town. But I mean, I was not completely left there. And also, I had to thank him again because I met this other guy, which is Simone. You know him as well, and he helped me a lot because he was living in the same building. So we had like actually he told me, you know what, now you live in a shared apartment, but I know I'm living in my own flat. So because I have to move in another flat, in a bigger flat, so you can come into my previous flat. I can arrange everything with the owner, so you can stay there. So we were able to recreate our our home, our environment, because in Italy we were living together, and it was not so easy to move. We had a flat in Italy, we had our life in Italy.
Yes.
It was not so easy to recreate it in Slovakia, but in the end we were able to do it.
Okay. So basically you got help at the beginning mostly by foreigners. So what about your relationship with Slovaks and who?
With the colleagues and with my manager. I'm speaking with IBM. Also in Amazon, my manager helped me a lot. You know him, Richard. Was very helpful guy. So he gave me really anything I needed. But yes, then I was helped mainly by colleagues which I met in IBM and by friends from Matteo as well, from Walter, which was this other Italian guy. Of course, it was easier to relate with Italians because you can speak in native language. You can say everything you want. It's easier to relate. The Slovak person which helped me most was Misha, your wife.
Yes.
So maybe because she's your wife, of course. But she was very helpful at the beginning. So yeah,
but
I mean, with foreign people, I didn't have the chance to relate very much, apart from the experience in the shops and it was easier for me to go to, for instance, to go to Vienna to shop, because the clerks in the shops were friendlier.
Okay.
And also in the supermarket it was easier because the products were similar to what I had in Italy. And also this guy Simone told me that maybe if you want to find the same kind of product that you were able to find in Italy, you have to go to Heimburg, which is close to the border. And you go there is Despar, which is a famous chain of supermarkets, which we have also here. And you can find everything you want there if you just want to a little bit of Italy. Because the big wall at the beginning was that good food, from my perspective, good food was very, very expensive. So with that salary that I had at the beginning, was tough to get it.
What kind of good food you mean?
If you want to buy, for instance, something a little bit different from what you find maybe in normal shops, like from, I don't know, Italian bacon or Italian like ham or cheese or meat in a way that I could say this is good, this is bad.
Okay.
Because in the beginning when I went to Slovak supermarkets, everything was related to Slovak cuisine, which actually is very good, but only if you can do it. I mean, from my point of view, it was really so. Everything was sausages, was pork, was chicken, and that's it. I mean, if you are able to cook it in a Slovak way, maybe it's easier. The cheap food was that type of things.
So let's say that in a basic Slovak supermarket, it wasn't enough to fulfill what were your.
No, I mean needs. It was much more difficult to shop.
Okay.
Because also of course the names were in Slovak, so I had to go with the translator, and it was not so fast. But at the end, you can do it.
It takes some time. So
I mean, you can maybe, if you want to buy hamburger meat, you can do it, but it's in another shape.
Yeah.
It's in another cultural perspective.
That's actually, I remember when the first year I came to Slovakia, one thing I noticed is that the products were placed in a different area of the supermarket. So perhaps, usually supermarket organize the product in shelves one next to the other. So I don't know, the pastas next to tomato sauce, I don't know. And in Slovakia, it's in a different kind of organization.
Yeah, for instance, it's very easy.
So you're not able to find, right, the things.
It's very easy if you want to buy barbecue stuff.
Yeah.
That is really, really, really easy because it's in the first lane in the supermarket. You can find beer, you can find meat, you can find barbecue sauce. So you have to, if you enter in the Slovak perspective, then you can.
Yeah. But with experience, you can actually find everything you need.
Yeah.
But you need to, start learning the new kind of placement and the new kind of names. Or
I think that maybe it's easier for someone that comes there and lives with Slovak people. So maybe if you have if I had a Slovak girlfriend, it would have been easier.
Yeah.
Because maybe she would have been able to cook Slovak food. I remember this, that one evening my Slovak colleague invited me. She was from Bratislava. She invited me to eat in her flat, and she told me, to my teammates, she told me, I want you to enjoy real Slovak cuisine. So she made aluski, she made meat, she made this another something, I don't remember the name, piroi, something like that.
Okay, perhaps brinzové pirochy.
No, it was like with a poppy seed. Okay. Something with a poppy seed, like sweet with a poppy seed.
So buchty.
Like worms.
Oh, those are called szulance.
Yeah.
Those are called szulance.
Yes. Okay. And also with the cheese. And it was really, really great. It was really amazing because I told her, wow, this is really not what I expected, and from what I found in the supermarket. I mean, if you can do it in a proper way, that's the point.
Yeah.
And also she offered us some homemade liquor. I mean, like slivovica. So we got drunk, and it was really a great night. So if you can do it in that way, you can really enjoy it. So maybe yes, it was just at the beginning because it was tough to, it was difficult to get in the mood, get in the, I can say maybe in the Slovak way of life. I don't know if I can use this term.
I wonder if you ever asked to some shop assistant or someone in the supermarket to help you out and try to speak with them.
Yeah, if you remember, there were a lot of times in which I was calling you to ask you, please write me down the names because I cannot make it out. I cannot, and I was trying also with the translator. It was difficult because maybe it was not translating correctly. I was getting crazy once to find the panna,
like the cream.
The cream, yes. Because there are a lot of different types.
That's true.
And also I was trying to look on the boxes on the to find maybe the translation in other languages. But the point is that the market there is different because it's Eastern Europe, so everything is maybe in Slovak, in Czech, in Polish and what else?
Hungarian, Bulgarian.
It's
different side of distribution.
Yeah, so the market distribution is different. So I couldn't help myself there. So yes, but then I got used to it, and it was really easier. And it was easy also because I came home every 2 months. And of course my mom gave me all the stuff, because even the water, because she told me don't drink that water they have there, you bring your own from Italy, Italian moms, right? And she gave me really everything, so in the following months I was able to to really build my my little treasure of Italian things.
That's true. I mean, living longer, I think you start realizing that you don't really need to bring so much food and goods, because you can really find nowadays everything, even the brands you're looking for. Maybe not such a big variety as you might find in your home country, but you can still find the same. But in the past I remember as well, like bringing several cans of tomato sauce and pasta, because it's a bit cheaper in the Italian market, and it's perhaps that is the quality you have, while you're not sure what to find in Slovakia. Yeah.
No, I remember that I was in the first 3 months before my girlfriend came to Slovakia. I was living only with Slovaks, and with this, I remember this girl, she was really not so friendly because I was living in this shared flat, and they were really eating like shitty stuff.
Okay, what for example?
Like only popcorn, cheese, chips, Coke, beer, and so I was trying to
unhealthy food.
Yeah, I was trying to eat healthy, but I couldn't, because they were really stealing the stuff from the fridge. So I was fighting with these people every day. And I remember another thing which was really difficult to manage at the beginning, which was the food in the restaurants. Because IBM was close to a shopping center, and they had only they had some fast foods, but they were the restaurants were made from the dishes were built for Slovak people, I guess. So there were just this big dish with everything on top, and that was it. If you wanted something different, maybe you had to bring it from home. But then I think that if you have the right mindset, you can make it, because it's different experience, but like not bad. I mean, it's just a really different world from what we were used to live in. So if you take it in a right way, you can enjoy it.
Okay. So what about instead the life outside the office, right? Evenings or during the weekend and so on.
Yeah, it was great because I met a lot of really nice people, international people from locals. I made really good friends. I'm speaking with them even now. I mean, I went back to Slovakia many times to meet them. So that is really a part that I'm missing now.
Okay.
I mean, to live in an international environment. The weekends were great because we hanged out a lot. So it was really like living in Erasmus, I could say, because we visited a lot of pubs, a lot of restaurants, a lot of clubs, discotheques. Also local restaurants, local pubs, and it's really easy to get drunk because the alcohol is really cheap. So I had some difficult times also with other Italian guys.
Okay.
If you ask our common friend Chrisman, he can tell you about my 32nd birthday.
Okay.
That was really the toughest day in my life.
Okay.
So the life outside work it was great.
So it's like Slovakia is good for party life as well.
Yeah, also, and but it's really I like it because the people there is really easy. They like to party. They like to walk around in the city. They want to go to the Christmas market. They want to. I mean, it was really much more normal environment than in maybe, for instance, in supermarket, in shops. So you could really say, okay, maybe I'm in a normal country. I'm in Europe. I'm in whatever. And they started to build this very nice location, very nice setting on the Danube in near Eurovea.
Yeah.
This really nice sidewalk with restaurants, with pubs, with also bars which have the opportunity to sit outside, with banks, with tables. You can really stay there and enjoy. On the other hand, maybe at some point the problem was the money, because the salary was not so good. I mean, for me. So you had to look at your wallet and say, okay, maybe I cannot party. I cannot shop very much because I had to take care of my my savings. But if you live normally, you can really afford it. I could also travel a lot because the travels in Eastern Europe are cheaper than.
But so you could still have some nightlife, live, pay your rent, and also travel in the weekend.
I mean, if you do it mindfully, you can afford it.
Okay.
Maybe I was able to do it because I was sharing my flat. If I took a flat on my own, maybe I wouldn't be able to afford it.
Okay.
Because the rents are very high. I was thinking about it.
But still, you were at the beginning of your working experience, so you had the first year, first salary. So I expect that maybe in some years you might get some better options.
Yeah, you can go on with a normal life, I would say.
Okay.
my salary, my salary was lower than the one I had in Italy.
Okay.
So I was really, I had some doubt. I was a little bit worried to move out in the beginning because I wasn't sure about the cost of life in Slovakia. But then I realized that if you live and not making any excess, you can live. You can do it.
Mm-hmm. So like
maybe also
cost of life was lower?
Yes, a little bit.
Okay.
With euro, it was starting to rise.
Mm-hmm.
But in the end, I could do it.
Okay.
And in the beginning, I had to use my own savings to move, for the expenses of the rent, the initial rent, the transportation and everything. But then I started to have a regular salary, and it was better.
Mm-hmm. Good. So that was for you 2 years experience. So you then stayed in IBM for the rest of the 2 years?
Yes.
And so what at one point made you, because you came back, so you decided at one point that Slovakia was enough, and you went somewhere else. So what made you choose this? Why you came back?
Well, not for Slovakia itself. Okay. It was for my position in IBM at that time, because I wanted to change and to have something more, because I was working in I could say entry level position for 2 years, and I couldn't see any possibility to move somewhere else at that time, because my team was not shaped very well, and the job was still being transferred from Italy. So it was really a transformation period, and I wanted to go on, maybe to become, I don't know, something more, something different. Also, to increase my salary. That was really, of course, it's an important point, but it was for my career mainly. I wanted to move to have something more I could say a better experience for my professional career.
Okay.
Something that gave me the possibility to increase my experience, and to have a better curriculum. Because if you stay too long in the same position, it's not good for you.
But still, you could have gone to, I don't know, another company in Bratislava, but then you chose...
No, I tried.
So you tried?
I tried, because I worked for Henkel for 3 months. But it was really the same, because they offered me this position like a specialist. But in the end, it was really the same, because it was working your hours and doing your stuff, and then move on, like report to your team leader, to your manager. It was like starting from the beginning what I did in IBM. So thinking about it, it was better to stay in IBM for that. I could say I really tried to stay there, because I spoke with and then I changed 3 managers, and that wasn't so good, because you have to rebuild the relationship with every manager, and with the last one it was not so good. He was like a really straight guy, not seeing maybe the possibilities to any growth in my career. So I started to think about moving out to even from Slovakia, and I started to take German classes to move to Germany, where there were better possibilities, even to Austria. I was sending a lot of CVs at that time, so it was not so. It was really easy.
So you were currently at that time working in Henkel in Bratislava, but looking for other positions.
Yes. No, I was still working in IBM.
Okay.
I was doing translation, and I was looking for something else because I couldn't find anything from my manager in IBM
within Slovakia.
So I was really looking for something outside. And then one day I was in vacation. I was on vacation in Naples with my mother, actually, because we wanted to see Pompeii. And I received an email from even this out of the blue, and it was the manager from the local IT company in Italy, in my hometown, and he told me, come for an interview the next Saturday morning. And actually I happened to be in Italy, and I went there and I got the job.
Okay. So now currently what is your current job position?
Sales manager.
Okay. So you just packed your stuff and went to Italy. So what are, now looking back, what are the things you still remember still well and about Slovakia? And what are the things instead that you are happy to have regained in Italy and so that to?
Well, for me it was the possibility to work for an international company, and I think that if I didn't move to Slovakia, I wouldn't have the possibility to do it, because multinational companies right now are concentrated in some countries, and in Italy I think it would have been impossible to do this. Maybe if you move to Milan, but maybe you could get a stage and maybe something not very well paid, so I didn't need it.
Okay.
So that is really something that helped me get back in Italy, because having IBM on the CV made the difference, really. And also I learned to work in a team, to work in a multinational environment, and also when I went back, I was really another person. It changed my life to go out, and it also changed my life to have a tough experience at the beginning, which turned to be a wonderful experience at the end. I could look from another perspective to my hometown, to my home country, and I was really saying that maybe some people really acted in a stupid way. They were really focused on local things, like living in a limited environment. I was able to see it from a different perspective, even now. So that really helped me a lot. It was staying in Bratislava in Slovakia was easier to travel around. It was easier for me to get to Paris, for instance, to see a concert. It was easier to move to Vienna, to Prague, because the position is much more central. And I could say the people, they helped me a lot in the end. Maybe the country, the environment is tough, because you see these big blocks in the beginning, the post-communist parts of the city. Maybe also the people is cold outside, but then when you happen to be friends, to get in touch in a deeper way, they are really warm and helping.
So what does it take to get in touch in a deeper way at this point?
I could say time.
Okay.
Time, and then if you empathize with them, I mean, if you put yourself on the same side, I mean, like I am the foreigner, I have to have all the comforts. If you step down and you maybe start to say some word in Slovak, if you think that maybe you are the one that you are in their country, not the other way around, that can help.
So like in the moment where you were a bit more open to people and experience, then something back came to you as well, like more friendliness.
Yes,
or
I could say
more
so.
Open doors.
In the beginning, I was really helped by Italians, because I really was kind of lost, and I could find help also only in my people, I could say. But that goes back to the point that I was not living with any other Slovak. Then I started to speak some word. One thing that I didn't want to do was to make group with Italians. I was starting to leave them apart, because you cannot really enjoy staying in another country if you do that, and you cannot relate with the people.
So it's more like trying to integrate more into an international environment. And
it was not easy at all, because if you don't speak the language, how can you live in that country? Right now I cannot speak Slovak. I can speak some word, which is enough to survive. But if you don't speak the language, you cannot integrate. It's the same here.
Yeah.
So
no luck with only English.
If you really want to do it, to integrate, maybe to grow up, you can take classes. You can start to learn Slovak. And then maybe even the people outside will be better. I don't know.
And is there anything that if you could, you would change about Slovakia or improve from your experience?
The local services need to be a little bit improved. The transport, in the way that you get to have the information, the transportation service, and then maybe the support for foreign people.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe that's the main point. But I understand that the country is really developing fast. So maybe that they will get to that point soon. I don't know. But the companies really support you in living there. So
in a corporate world, you are a bit more supported.
Yeah.
If you just come alone instead of you work in a big corporate.
Yes, they are. I guess they are more polite with you than with other colleagues. Maybe they allow to go back home much more to you because you are from abroad. They want to preserve your stay there because they don't want to lose any head in the team, and they need people from abroad, so they have to do it. There are some companies that even give you accommodation. So I think that the package is good. Then it's your choice if you want to integrate or not.
Cool. Anything else which you would like to share about your experience in Slovakia?
I could suggest to everyone that thinks about going there, maybe go there and take a 2 days walk in the city. And if you can stay there and enjoy the nightlife, try to, I don't know, drink something typical. It's a very good experience if you want to give it a chance. It's tough thinking about it in the beginning, because it's a country that maybe is not on the top 10 list of countries where you want to go. I mean, Italians normally want to go to London, to New York, but it's really something to discover, I guess. I mean, for me, you know me, I want to look around, to travel, to discover.
Cool.
So yeah, I don't know, it was a really good experience looking backwards. That's it, that's all I can say.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
You can listen to My Slovak Experience directly on the website MySlovakExperience.com, or subscribe on iTunes or Stitcher or Tuning Radio, or you can also find it and subscribe on YouTube.
Thank you everyone for listening to My Slovak Experience. See you at the next interview. Till then, have fun, share and enjoy.